Hello everyone, welcome to Explore Talks. Today in this video, we are going to see how does an average Cognizant verbal ability paper looks like. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, please do it now. It is always important to read the instruction first so that we can understand what we are going to solve. Read the following sentence, spot the errors and correct them. So it is nothing but there's a question given to us and we need to improvise it by correcting it if there are any mistakes in it. So the question is, I met one of my relatives yesterday. Option A, I met one of my relatives yesterday. Option B, I meet one of my relatives yesterday. Option C, I had met one of my relatives yesterday. Option D, no correction needed. So here in the question, we are talking about I met one of my relatives yesterday. As you can see, the term met is suggesting us that the sentence is in past tense. So we can eliminate this option B. Why? Because the mistake is not in the tense. So in option B, you're using the term meet, which is in present tense. So we don't need to actually convert the past form into present form, as I told you before, because the mistake is not in the tense. So then where is the mistake actually? Here in this term, one of my relative. So let's see the remaining sentences also. In option A, I met one of my relatives yesterday. So this is the right answer because there is a correction needed. And I'll tell you what the error is and why option A is the right answer. Before talking about that, just take a quick look into this option C. I had met one of my relative. And see, the term one of my relative. Most of the people make this common mistake when they're actually talking in English. What do they do is, one of my friend is absent to college today. See, one of my friend itself is a singular noun. So you cannot pick one person again from the one person. From group of people, we point out one individual. So that is the purpose of using this term, this phrase one of. So one of my relatives. Out of all the relatives, you're talking about one particular person. So one of my relative, this is actually grammatically wrong, which means that relative is singular in sense. Again, one is referring to the same person who is singular, right? So it doesn't make any sense. So that is the reason it should always be one of my relatives or one of my friends. Whenever you use this phrase one of, the plural verb, I mean the noun, whatever you use next, it should be always plural in sense. Though she is weak, but she is active. Option A, though she is weak, also she is active. As she is weak, she is active. Though she is weak, she is active. No correction required. So here, let's focus on the question given to us. Though she is weak, but she is active. So the mistake here is using two contrast signpost words in the same sentence. So what does it mean by contrast signpost words? For example, let's just say that I like this song and that song, which means that I like both the songs, right? And both the sentences or both the phrases, whatever I'm combining here by using the term and or positive. So we actually combine positive, positive, then it is called support signpost words. And then we use support signpost words like and or not, something like that. Now, whenever we are combining a negative sentence with a positive sentence, we use contrast signpost words. As in the name itself, it is suggesting us that they contradict to the sentences. For example, let's look at this sentence. She is weak. This is a negative sentence. Okay. She is active. Now, this is a positive sentence. We are combining one negative sentence with another positive sentence, right? So whenever we use these kind of sentences, we have to use contrast signpost words. Now, but this is a contrast signpost word. And even though is also a contrast signpost word. So we do not need to use two contrast signpost words here. To serve the purpose of these words here, we can just use one. She is weak, but she is active. That is fine. Or though she is weak, she is active. This is also fine. Now, if ever you look at the options given to us, though she is weak also. So also is adding to it. So by using this term also, this is also becoming negative. Okay, when do we use also? If both are negative or both are positive. This is negative, but this is positive, right? So we cannot use the term also here. Next, as she is weak, she is active. So why she is active? Because the reason is she is weak. Now, in the meaning itself, in the like in this sentence itself, it doesn't make any sense. It holds no meaning at all. So this is also wrong. So we can eliminate option A and B. So what is left? Option C. Now this is our answer. As you can see here, though she is weak, she is active. Now this part is positive and this is negative, and you're combining one negative sentence with a positive sentence by using a contrast signpost word though. So here, we did nothing. We just eliminated this term, but that's it. He did not listen to his father's advices. Option A, he did not listen to his father's advices. B, he did not listen to his father's advice. C, he doesn't listen to his father's advices. So, here, what is the mistake in the given question? As you can see, he did not listen. Up to here, it makes sense and there is no error in it. To his father's, okay. Here also, there is no mistake. Then, where is the error? Here. The mistake is here. As you can see, you can eliminate option A and option C directly. Why? Because, see, as I told you before, up to here, there is no mistake in the question. So the only error is in the last term, advises. So whenever we use the term like advise, information, we cannot take plural forms for it, like informations, intelligences, like that. We cannot use any plural forms. In the same way, advice does not have a plural form. Okay, so it is always advice. Though you give many, like 10 or 20 or 30, it's just like advice, since it is an uncountable noun and that too an abstract noun, just like it is an emotion, suggestion, something like that. Okay, so advice does not take plural form. So that is the reason here the right answer is option B. So we need to identify the opposite term of the highlighted word in the sentence given here. And the question is, he was amenable to the whole situation, knowing when it was his mistake. Uncooperative, persuadable, biddable, docile. So, what is the right answer here? First of all, let's try to understand the meaning of the question given to us. He was amenable to the whole situation, knowing when it was his mistake. So, when he got to know that it was his mistake, either he cooperated or not cooperated. Okay, these are the only two options that we can assume, since if ever you do not know the meaning of this term amenable. So the meaning of this term amenable is obedient or controllable. Okay, controllable or obedient or cooperative in other terms. So what is the opposite form for like cooperative? Obviously it is uncooperative. So as you can see, amenable, persuadable, biddable, and docile. These all are synonyms for the term amenable, which means all the same. Obedient. Persuadable means someone whom we can control easily or someone who is very obedient. Biddable meaning is also same and docile meaning is also same. So here, as you can see, there is another tip. Whenever you do not know the meanings of the words given to you, you can, I'm not telling you that it works out all the time, but at some cases, you can actually go on with this term. As you can see, all these three words are holding a positive meaning, whereas this is the only one which is negative. So by that we can understand these three are not our answers and this one is our answer. So this is like one of the step we use when it comes to like option verification and elimination. But it is not effective all the time. We cannot blindly go on with like that. But in few cases, we can just eliminate the wrong answer based on this logic. When, see, something is better than nothing. When we do not know all the meanings of the words given to us, like or the meaning of a given question, then we can just go on with this logic. So what do we need to find out in this question? We need to find out the opposite word for the highlighted word in the given sentence. So here, let's see what the question is first. The whole town was in amity after the disaster struck. Options: affection, mercy, malevolence, lenity. So, first of all, before identifying the answer, we have to know the meaning of this term amity. The whole town was in blank. Amity means friendliness or friendly nature or friendship. So, based on that, what do you understand by the question? If the meaning of the term amity is friendliness, the whole town was in like a friendly relationship after the disaster struck, which means that they're being friendly and they're helping out each other. That's what the sentence suggests us, right? So this sentence is holding a positive meaning. Based on the previous logic I have told you, we have to just identify in the options. Since we are looking for the opposite term, so we have to look for the negative word here. Okay, affection, this is also positive, eliminate this. Mercy, positive. And lenity meaning again being gentle or being kind towards someone. So this is also holding a positive meaning. Now the meaning of malevolence is hate or disliking something, hate. Okay, so this is the only term which is holding negative meaning. As you can see, friendly nature, having mercy, or showing affection, or these are all kind of not exactly the exact synonyms, but however these give the closest meanings to the term amity, right? So here the right answer is malevolence, as it is the only option which is consisting of negative meaning in it. Rearrange the sentences below. Parajumble's question. So what we need to do is, as it is already given, sentence 1 and sentence 6 are fixed. Okay, these are constant. So we need to rearrange this PQRS sentence 2, 3, 4 in order to get the correct comprehension at last as an output. So let's get started. Let's see what this question is about. While talking to a group, one should feel self-confident and courageous. Nor is it a gift bestowed by Providence on only a few. One should also learn how to think calmly and clearly. It is like the ability to play golf. Neither is it as difficult as most men imagine. Any man can develop his capacity if he has the desire to do so. So, let's look at the first sentence first. While talking to a group, one should feel self-confident and courageous. So we are actually talking about the qualities that one must possess whenever we are talking in a group, right? Whenever we are talking to a group. Now, without even looking or reading the remaining sentences twice, first go directly to the options. By looking at the options, we have to understand that our second sentence starts either with Q or S, right? So now let's focus on Q and S for finding out or for figuring out our second sentence. So as you can see here we are talking about the qualities one must possess, right? In Q again, we are talking about one should also learn. So the term also suggests us that before this sentence, there is another sentence which is talking about the qualities one that possesses, right? And those qualities are nothing but being self-confident and courageous. So based on this, we have to understand that statement 2 is Q. Q is our second statement or sentence. Okay. So after this, as you can see, there is this term neither, and here it is nor. So we have to understand again, S and P is a pair. Okay. Neither is followed by nor. It is a correlative conjunction, as we all are aware of. So S and P is a pair, and Q is our second sentence, and S and P should come side by side. This is a pair because they are taking neither nor correlative conjunctions, right? So neither is followed by nor. So as we already know. Now, if you look at the options, we have successfully eliminated option C, and among A, B, D, there is only one option which is actually taking S after P, like S and P side by side, and that option is nothing but option B. So this is our answer. Now let's check whether it is the right one or wrong one. Neither it is as difficult as most men imagine, nor is it. So one evidence it is already given. it is the ability to play golf. So it is like the ability to play golf. See, we are actually comparing all the qualities that a person must possess, like with playing golf, like how you play golf with the same self confidence and courageous. So that's what we are talking about. Any man can develop his capacity if he has the desire to do so. Now it is very clear. So we already got the second statement, and we already got S and P is a pair. So there is no other doubt. The right answer is option B here. A ceiling on urban property, no mill owner could sorry. A ceiling on urban property, no mill owner could own factories or mills or plants. And mass circulation papers would mean that no press magnate could own printing presses since their value would exceed the ceiling fixed by the government. So, after looking at the options, we are clear with one thing, that our second statement is R. So, after R, now let's check A, B, C, D, all. Let's check the first option. After R, it is P and Q. And I say that option A is the wrong answer. Why? Because, see, in P, you're using conjunctions or, right? Right after using the conjunctions or, we're not supposed to use and, right? So no mill owner could own factories or mills or plants. And again, we have to use or mass circulation papers, but we cannot use and, because or talks about an optional case, whereas and talks about an additional case, right? So we cannot use these two like these two conjunctions in a same sentence. So we have to understand P and Q is not a pair, like these both will not come side by side. So based on that, eliminate option A. Now we are left with option B, C, and D. Now let's see. As I told you before, a ceiling on urban property would mean that up to here we are clear. So sentence 2, next one. No mill owner, no mill owner could own factories or mills or plants. No press magnet. See here, no mill owner, and we are talking about what they cannot do. And again, no press magnet. So these both are like sentence elaboration. As you can see, there is an idea elaboration. So after P, it is S. Either it is after P, it is S, or after S, it is P. P and S. These both should come side by side. Now we will see which comes first, whether it is P or S. Based on what? Based on identifying the next sentence. And mass circulation papers. As I told you before, there is Q, right? We cannot use Q after P. So obviously we have to place this Q only after S. Now here you can see no press magnet could own printing presses. Since we actually started speaking about printing presses, so here comes the circulation of mass papers. Am I clear? So PSQ. Now this printing presses and these papers are interlinked. So based on that, RPSQ is the correct sequence. Politeness is not a quality possessed by only one nation or race. One may observe that a man of one nation will remove his hat or fold his hands by way of greetings when he meets someone he knows. A man of another country will not do so. It is a quality to be found among all peoples and nations in every corner of the earth. Obviously, each person follows the custom of his particular country. In any case, we should not mock at others' habits. So, now let's take a look into the question given to us. So, let's focus on the first sentence. Politeness is not a quality. So, we are talking about politeness, right? And how it is followed by different people different people from different nations, right? So, now here, after sentence 1, so what is sentence 2? Now, just take a quick look at options given to us. See, our second statement will be either S or R. Got it? So now in S and R, I say that are is our second statement. Why? Because noun pronoun replacement. If you do not know all these rules, I have already uploaded a video based on this parajumbles, related to these parajumbles and all the tips you have to solve these questions. You can probably take a look into that video so that you can understand it better. So as you can see here, we are talking about politeness. So it is a noun and we are replacing this noun with a pronoun it. So the term it is referring to what here exactly? The term it is referring to politeness. It is a quality we are saying. What is a quality? Politeness is a quality to be found among all peoples, right? So that is the reason after sentence 1, are is our sentence 2. Now, based on this, we can eliminate option A and option D. And our answer lies between B and C. Now, let's see which one is the next one. Okay, after R, is it P or is it Q? If ever we can identify this, a man of another country will not to do so. So here, have you ever mentioned about any man here? Generally speaking, in R, it is a quality to be found among all peoples and nation in every corner of the earth. So as you can see here in R, we are talking about the people and nations in the every corner of the earth. However, we have not we have not brought up anything about a man of another country. So like, does this country belong to another planet or something? No, right? So it doesn't make sense. So after R, based on the option verification, Q is not our third sentence. So we can directly eliminate option C also. Now what is left? Option B. Now let's check whether it is the right answer or not. As you can see here, C. Nations in every corner of the earth. One may observe that a man of one nation. See, here we are talking about all the nations on the earth, right? Now, here we have actually elaborated the same idea by representing one individual, right? One may observe that a man of one nation will remove his hat or fold his hands when he meets someone he knows. Now, obviously, each person follows. Now, here, see, after P, it is S. Why? We are talking about the same person. Like, this is the reason. Obviously, each person follows the custom of his particular country. So, whatever the like custom we follow in our country, that's what we do. Now, a man of another country will not to do so. Now, this term, a man of another country will not to do so, this is contradicting to the previous statement which is given here, right? So, the Q is not the second, like the third statement. So the right answer is B. Now, as Q is actually contradicting with P. Now, P and S is the same sentence. Here we have elaborated P in S. That's it. So we need to fill in the blanks with the correct option given to us here. The baby was cranky because blank slept well. Had not, has not, would not. So here we need to fill this blank with the appropriate helping verb in order to satisfy the tenses rule. So now here, the baby was cranky. So what do you understand by this first half of the sentence? The term was is suggesting us that the sentence is in past tense, right? So again here also, you have this term slept. So it may be our V2 or V3. So let's assume that it is V3 because as you can see here, he not slept well. We will not use not individually without any helping verb before it. So eliminate option C. Now we are left with A, B, and D. Now, would not is not the right term to use here because would actually talks about any proposals or any offers or something like that. And it is a past form for will. And here I do not see anything like which is matching with our like question in option C and D. So eliminate these two. Now, we are left with had not and has not. And the right answer is had not. Why? Because was is in past tense. So the entire tense should be in the past tense. The entire sentence should be in past tense. We cannot change the tense. If ever you choose option B as your answer, there will be a tense mismatching. So in order to avoid that mistake, we have to go with option A. So the baby was cranky because he had not slept well. So the sentence is in past perfect form. The beaver, blank, is a hardworking animal, is a native of Canada. That, who, whom, which. So what is the right answer here? So if I'm not wrong, we can directly eliminate option C and D. Why? Because who is a subject pronoun and whom is an object pronoun, where we actually use these both terms to represent a human. Okay. And the term beaver. So the term beaver, it's a noun and it represents an animal. Okay, it represents an animal where we cannot use this who and whom to represent an animal. Okay, this is the dog who, we cannot say who, right? Which I bought yesterday or something like that. Got it? So that is the reason we cannot use who or whom. Now, see here, if you understand the context of this sentence, what are we trying to do? The beaver is a hardworking animal, is a native of Canada. So here we are not pointing out to the beaver. So we use that or this to point out or to indicate something, to point out an object or a person, right? See here, the term that, it is also not a preferable option here. Why? Because we are not pointing out the beaver. We are actually introducing the subject beaver. Got it? The beaver, which is a hardworking animal, is a native of Canada. So here the right answer is which? Why? Because we are introducing the character, nothing but the subject beaver. So that is the reason we need to use which. The conversation with her mother had a more profound effect on her than she expected. So we need to just spot the error here. So the conversation with her, up to here, there is no error. The entire sentence is absolutely perfect. Next, mother had a more profound. So up to here also, there is no error. Effect on her than she expected. Now let's check this particular part. Effect on her. So there is a slight difference between affect and effect. So let me explain it clearly to you with an example. Effect and affect. The conversation with her mother had a more profound effect on her than she expected. So let's find out the error. As you can see, the instruction says that spot the error. The conversation with her. Up to here, this is perfect and there is no mistake in it. Mother had a more profound. So up to here also, there is no mistake. The sentence is clear. Effect on her. So profound effect on her. So now we have to think about this part before moving on to the further. Okay, next one. So now let's see here, profound effect. So I think the error is here. So why do I think that this is an error? Let me explain it briefly to you. So there is a slight difference between effect and affect. So for example, the corona has affected people's lives. So here the term affect is a verb, whereas effect is a noun. And it talks about the result of an action, whereas it talks about how does an action happens. For example, the rain affects the rain affected the people here, or the weather affected the people's mood here. So if ever, whenever we are talking about a verb or a work, we use this term affect. Okay, it refers to the work, what's happening over there. So here, as you can see, the conversation with the mother, with her mother, had a more profound result on her. So we are talking about profound result. Profound is an adjective. So we actually use adjectives to modify a noun, not a verb. So here the answer should be like we have to replace this term affect with effect. Effect on her than she expected. So now the error is in part C, which means the answer is option B. As quick as you can, but as carefully as possible when you take the test. So, what is the error in this sentence? As quick as you can. Okay, as is followed by as. So, there is no mistake here. And here also as is followed by as. As you are seeing that here, we are talking that you need to be quick. And here we are talking about at the same time, but carefully. Be quick at the same time, be careful. So, that is the reason we have used the contrast signpost word but. Okay, this is kind of like negative. Now this is kind of like positive. Let's say this. These both are contradicting. Do it quickly, but carefully. Got it? That's what we are saying. So just now, what did I say? Quickly, as quick as you can, but as carefully. So see here, carefully. Here it is an adverb. Now quick. Now this is being an adjective. So the error is you have to replace this term quick with quickly, as quickly as you can, but as carefully as possible when you take the test. So there is no error in take the test, possible when you. There is no error in this sentence also. And this is also absolutely perfect. So the only error, the mistake is we have to replace this term quick with quickly. Got it? As quickly as you can, but carefully. Since we have used it carefully, so it should be quickly. Adverb followed by adverb. So the error is in part A and the answer is option C. Because of the internet, working at jobs from home have become much more common. So let's see where the error is. Because of the internet. Up to here, it makes clear. And yes, before internet, we need to use the article the. And yeah, there is no mistake till here. So everything is right. Now, working at jobs. So there is no mistake in this part also. From home have become much more common. Now, let's see much more common. So this is a general term that we use in our spoken English. So this is also correct. So where is the mistake? The mistake in this part C. And what is that mistake? So work from home. If you're thinking like working at jobs from home. So instead of saying work from home, working at jobs from home. So this is also making sense. So there is no error up to here. We are clear. Now let's see. From home have become. So the error is in the part have. So what is our subject? Our subject is internet. Because of what working from homes have become easy? Because of internet. Got it? So the term internet, it is an uncountable noun. Whenever you use uncountable noun, according to the subject verb agreement rule, we have to use only singular verbs, not plural verbs. For example, the water is on the floor. Water, uncountable noun. So that is the reason we are using is. In the same way, the internet, because of the internet, working at jobs from home has become much more common. So for listening, it might sound odd. However, that's the right usage when it comes to writing skills. Okay. See here. Has should represent internet, which is an uncountable noun and which is singular. So the error is in part C, which means our answer is option A. So first read the instruction. Change the voice of the sentence. So active voice, passive voice. If the question is in active voice, we need to convert it into passive. If the question is in passive, we need to convert it into active. So let's see what the question is here. We ought to have saved our environment. So when it comes to active and passive voice, the first rule we have to remember is we need to interchange our subject with object. So here our subject is we. Okay, and our object is environment. So we need to swap them. Means now, before even identifying swapping and everything, the first step we need to do is we need to identify whether our sentence is in active voice or in passive voice. How do we do it? So there is actually a small tip which I can suggest you to do it. So now let's give it numbering. Okay, let's give each and every sentence numbering. So if the sentence is in the order of 1, 2, 3, it is in active voice. If it is in the order of 3, 2, 1, okay, it is in passive voice. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, you did not understand anything, right? It's okay. Let me explain it clearly for you. So 1 means action doer. Action doer. Here, 1 represents action doer and 2 represents the verb. I mean, the action or the verb, whatever is happening in the sentence. And 3 represents the action receiver, if it is a living thing. And on what we are implementing the action. Okay, if it is a non-living thing, action receiver or whatever we implement the action on. Got it? So if the sentence is in the order of 1, 2, 3, it is in active voice. Okay. If the sentence is in the order of 3, 2, 1, it means it is in passive voice. So sometimes you might not have objects for all the sentences. So at that time, you can just probably go for like 1, 2. Okay, if ever you just have 1 and 2, active voice again. Just 3 and 2, and there is no 1. Still, it is in passive voice. Even there is the not the last number. So we can just assume that based on the numbering we give to that sentence. So we ought to action doer or action receiver. We who is saving the environment here? We are saving the environment. So we are the action doers. So it is in 1 and saving is the verb. 2 and environment is the object. That whatever the action we are doing, the environment is receiving that action, right? So 3. So here the sentence order is in 1, 2, 3, which means it is in active voice. Now we need to convert it into passive voice. Let's see how to do that. So as I told you before, after identifying whether the sentence is in active voice or in passive voice, our job now is to swap the object with subject and subject with object. So our environment should come first. As you can see, as you can understand it by now, by looking at the options, we have swapped subject and object in all the options, right? So there is no chance for us to actually be eliminating the wrong answer, right? So now next step. Now focus on the verb and the helping verb we have. So according to the rules of active voice and passive voice, we are not supposed to change the tense of the given sentence. If the sentence is in simple present, so when we convert it into passive, the answer must be in the same tense. So we cannot change the tense. So based on this, how many options we can eliminate? We can eliminate option A. As you can see here, here we have used have and saved. Saved is in V3 form. So have plus V3 form, which means present perfect tense. So our sentence is in present perfect tense. However, the option A, it is in past perfect tense. So we have changed the tense. As you can see, we have replaced have with had. So eliminate option A. So whenever you're converting present tenses like present perfect or past perfect or future perfect, we have to add one more helping verb, which is the term been. Okay. Whenever you're converting perfect tenses into a passive voice, in passive voice, you need to add a helping verb been. So based on this, we can even eliminate option D because in option D, there is no helping verb been. So eliminate A and eliminate D. Now we are left with B and C. Now let's see. Now B is the right answer. Why? Because whenever we use have, we use V3 form. Okay. Now this is another rule. In passive voice, the main verb should always be in V3 form. Okay. We cannot use V1, V2 or V4. Got it? This is a rule. In passive voice, the verb should always be in V3 form. Now here, as you can see in option C, it is in V1 form. So again, this is also a mistake. So the right answer is option B. Now let's move to the next question. He arrived at the conclusion. First of all, figure out whether it is in active voice or in passive voice. As you can see, he is the action doer. So action doer 1, arrived is the verb 2. At the conclusion, now this is where the action is being implemented on. So the format of the sentence is 1, 2, 3, which means the sentence is in active voice. Okay, it's in active voice. Now, so we have to convert it into passive voice. So replace or swap subject with object. Okay, so the conclusion should come first. So whenever you're swapping subject with object, obviously the subject goes to the object place. But in place of objects, we cannot use subject pronouns, right? So that is the reason he will be converted as him. Got it? Why we are using him instead of using he? Because in place of objects, we have to only use object pronouns. In place of subjects, we have to use only subject pronouns. This is the rule whenever we frame a sentence. So now the conclusion comes front and him will be in the ending. Now, based on this first step, we cannot eliminate any wrong answers. Why? Because all the options are consisting of the same item, like the same subject and the object. Conclusion, him. So now let's go to the next step, identifying the tense. Okay. Now he arrived at the conclusion. In which tense the sentence is? It is in simple past tense. Okay. It is in simple past tense. So when you convert it into passive voice, the sentence should hold the same tense. It should not be converted. So now let's see. Had arrived by him. So see. Okay, we will talk about option A later. First of all, look at option B. Had arrived. It is in past perfect tense. Got it? Past perfect tense. So we have changed the tense here. So it should be in simple past. However, option B is in past perfect tense. So eliminate option B. Now we are left with A, C and D. Now you can even eliminate option C also. Why? Because our sentence is in simple past and this have arrived. It is in present perfect. So it is not past perfect. It is not present perfect. Now option A, it is in simple past tense and option D is also in simple past tense. Now based on what we need to decide that which one is the right answer. See, based on the helping verb. So this is the third rule. So we should not convert the we should not convert the tense. Means we should not change the tense. However, we need to add a helping verb, right? So whenever we use simple tenses, I mean simple present tense or simple past tense, based on the tense, we'll be using helping verbs. So we'll be using was. The conclusion arrived at by him. So the difference here between A and D is it is very simple. Just do not go on with any rules and regulations. Just read the sentences alone. The conclusion arrived at by him means the conclusion found him. Okay. So is it a person to arrive by him? No, right? We find conclusions. I mean, we get to the conclusions, but conclusions cannot get to us because those are non-living things. So the moment you say the conclusion arrived at him, so the term conclusion is becoming a person. It makes no sense. We are completely changing the context, right? In order to not to change the context of the sentence, what we'll be doing, we'll be adding a helping verb. That helping verb is was. So the conclusion was arrived at by him. So this, you might be confused by looking at this term at and by side by side. So arrived at, it is a phrasal verb. Okay, by him, it is different. Got it? Separated. It's not like we are using at and by side. Arrived at. Okay, it is a phrasal verb. Came into a come to a conclusion, something like that. Okay. So now we need to convert direct speech into indirect speech. Okay. I said to Nandini, please help me with my homework. I hope you are clear in identifying what is in direct speech and what is in indirect speech. As you can see, the quotation marks and the commas given to us, right? So now let's move on to the options. So before identifying what the answer is, try to figure out the meaning of the given question. I said to Nandini, please help me with my homework. So who is asking Nandini? I am the one who is asking the Nandini to help with my homework, right? So by looking at this term, please, we have to understand that it is a request. Got it? So these are what we call imperative sentences. Imperative sentences are nothing but these just exhibit or emit our emotions. For example, close the door. And now this is like a order, or this is like an order or a command, right? I was asked to, or I was want to, or I was ordered to close the door. So something like that. So whenever you are actually talking about the tone of the speech, then those are referred as imperative sentences. And whenever you use imperative sentences, you need to use 2 plus infinitive form. Okay, 2 plus V1 verb. So that's what you can see in the options given here. 2 plus V1 form. means to plus help. You cannot ask, or you cannot say like to helped, to helped, or to left. You cannot say to leave. Okay, I'm going to college. I'm going to eat this. To eat. I cannot say to eat. Or am I clear? So whenever we use to, now we use V1 form after it. That is referred as an infinitive verb. So whenever we talk about these imperative sentences in speeches, we will use this term to plus V1, infinitive verbs. So based on this rule, we cannot actually eliminate any of the options here. As you can see, all the options are taking the same infinitive form, which is correct. Right? Now, please is converted into requested. So this is also correct. Perfect. So now here, as you can see, option D is eliminated. Why? Because Nandini requested me. So who is requesting whom? I am the one who's asking Nandini, like who's actually requesting Nandini, please help me with my homework, right? However, in option D, what did you write? Nandini requested me, means you're changing the context. She did not request me, I requested her. So we are not supposed to change the meaning of the sentence. Okay, we are just we are just supposed to convert the speech. That's it. We cannot change the meaning. So eliminate option D. Now we are left with A, B, and C. Now let's see. Now we can directly eliminate A and C also. Why? Because it is with my homework, not in my homework. Got it? I requested Nandini to help me with my homework. Not to help me in homework means to help me in school, or to help me in library. In the same way, to help me in homework. That's the meaning it is conveying here. So eliminate C and eliminate A. With my homework. Got it? In my homework means we cannot be included in the homework. We do our homework. Got it? So here the right answer is option B. He said to me, can you do these sums for me? As you can see by looking at the question, can you do these sums for me? It is ending with a question mark. So whenever our speech ends with a question mark, we have to use the term asked instead of converting said to into said that or told. We have to convert it into asked. Why? Because it is ending with question mark. In the same way, if it is ending with an exclamatory mark, we have to say he exclaimed. Okay. So based on this question tag here, we have to understand, based on this punctuation mark, we are asking, like we got to know that he's asking. Okay, since it's a question, we ask questions, right? So based on this, we cannot eliminate any of the options given here. Now, there is next rule. So whenever we convert speech and like direct speech into indirect speech, we have to change the tense. Now, this is opposite to voices. In voices, we cannot change the tenses. In speech, we have to change the tense. So can is converted as could, may as might, will as would, shall as should. So in the same way, can should be converted as could. Based on this, we can eliminate option B and C both at the same time. Why? Because can is being the same. However, this is a rule. Can should be converted as could. Okay. So option A and D. Now let's see which one is the right answer between these option A and D. Now, if can you do these sums? He said to me. So you is converted as I, and these should be converted as those. And today is converted as the day, and yesterday as previous day, and tomorrow as next day. Got it? So whenever we are converting direct speech into indirect speech, we will be converting each and everything, including the pronouns and all. So you should be converted as I. Can I do those sums? So now, right now, I am representing to these. So when I'm saying the same thing to someone, those sums, I'll be saying like those. Okay. Can you do this for me? Okay. She asked me that whether I could do that for her. So this converted as that in the same way. These converted as those. But in option D, you can see these is being the same. It's not being converted here. So eliminate option D also. Now the right answer is option A. So after reading the instruction, you will get to know that we have to replace this italicized and highlighted word with the proper options given to us. Okay. Now, The mother has not seen the child for several months and now eagerly looks forward to seeing him. So the highlighted term is, the italicized term is looks forward. So we need to just replace this looks forward phrasal verb with the options given to us here. So if there is no requirement for any improvement, if there is no requirement for changing it, we can just choose option D. Now let's see. As you can see, after the italicized part, we have another verb to. Sorry, we have another preposition to. So what is a phrasal verb? It is a combination of verb plus preposition. So verb plus preposition is referred as phrasal verb. We all are aware of it. Just like pick up, take away, break up, break off. So call it off, like call off. So we all know this thing, right? Verb plus preposition is referred as a phrasal verb. So we already have a phrasal verb here. See here, looks forward. After that, we have another preposition. After a preposition, we have a preposition to. So can we say looks ahead to? Looks ahead. Ahead means like looking forward. It conveys the same meaning. And after using ahead, looks ahead for seeing him. We will not use this term to here, right? So hence proved option A is wrong. Now, looking into to seeing to seeing him. So as you can see, two and two side by side. Why are we even using it twice? So there is a redundancy error. So eliminate option B also. Now, now eagerly look for. So it should be like looks forward. Okay, looks. Why? Because our subject itself is singular, mother. Got it? So we cannot use a plural verb look. So based on this directly we can eliminate all the three. And again, we cannot, even though if the options are consisting of looks in it, so we cannot even choose those answers. Why? Because we will not use for and to side by side again. Looks for seeing him. Okay, looks for seeing him, it is fine. And looks for to seeing him, we will not say it, right? So here the answer is no improvement needed. When it was feared that the serfs might go too far and gain their freedom from serfdom, the Protestant leaders joined the princes at crushing them. So what is the italicized part here? The term at crushing. So we need to replace it with the correct options from the given options to us. So what is the meaning of serfs? Serfs means slave. Okay, slaves. Serfdom means slavery. So it is not like the actual slavery, human slavery as such. After slavery, there is another phase in the past, which is called like wage slaves or feudal slaves, something like that. Okay, slaves, slavery. So see, the Protestants joined whom? Princes. Okay, princess at crushing them. So the term at crushing them, it doesn't actually fit the sentence here. Yes, we can, it can be improvised. And into crushing them means they're not physically doing it, right? Crushing them in physically, no, like making them like fall down, like just like they're doing something in the process of for their downfall, right? So in crushing them, it's not even without crushing them. They did not mention non-violence or anything as here. So when it was feared that the serfs might go too far and gain their freedom for serfdom, the Protestant leaders joined the princes in crushing them. Got it? In crushing them is the right answer here. It is not at crushing them. They included in the process of crushing them. In crushing means they're included in the process of crushing them. Got it? So we need to fill in this blank with the correct options, with the correct option in the given options to us. I guess this is the last question. So Cognizant paper has only 20 questions in verbal ability. So this is our last question and it is related to articles. So during the winter, blank people can make ice towers. A people, see, we use a or an. We can directly eliminate a and an because the purpose of like using a and an is to represent something which is in singular, right? Which is singular. So we cannot say like there is a boys group. There is a, sorry, I can say that because it is representing a group. So what to say? There is a boys in the classroom. Okay, can I say like that? Or there are a boys in the classroom. Is it correct? No, there are a boys. It doesn't make sense. There are boys in the classroom. So the term people is plural. Got it? So we cannot use a or an, because we use a and an only before singular nouns. We cannot use a and before plural nouns. So eliminate a and. So what is the answer? We might be thinking that the, right? So during the winter, the people make ice towers. So when do we use the term the? When a noun is definite. So the people, so exactly which people we are referring, exactly to whom we are referring. So we do not know. So even this is also not definite. So generally, before common nouns, the term people is a common noun. So before common nouns, there is a rule that we cannot use any article. Got it? So the right answer is no article. So during the winter, people make ice towers. People see you as an inspiration. That's fine. Man is mortal. Why? Because why am I not using article the? Because in front of common nouns, I cannot use article the. So here the answer is option C. So that's it for today. I hope you have learned something new in this video. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please kindly do that.